Alright, congratulations. This is going to be our last video. I'm so proud of you guys that you guys are able to finish this ginormous chapter book. You guys are ready for 6th grade. Okay, here we go. Luke's smile wavered. I got overconfident. Zeus sent out his sons and daughters to find the golden bolt. Artemis, Apollo, my father Hermes. But it was Ares who caught me. I could have beaten him, but I wasn't careful enough. He disarmed me, took the items of power, threatened to return them to Olympus, and burned me alive. Then Kronos' voice came to me and told me what to say. I put the idea in Ares' head about the great war between the gods. I said all he had to do was hide the items away for a while and watch the others fight. Ares got a wicked gleam in his eye. I knew he was hooked. He let me go, and I returned to Olympus before anyone noticed my absence. Luke drew his new sword. He ran his thumb down the flat of the blade, as if he were hypnotized by its beauty. Afterwards, the Lord of the Titans, he punished me with nightmares. I swore not to fail again. Back at Camp Half-Blood in my dreams, I was told that a second hero would arrive, one who'd be tricked into taking the bolt and the helm the rest of the way to Ares down to Tartarus. You summoned the Hellhound that night in the forest? We had to make Sean think the camp wasn't safe for you, so you would start on your own quest. We had to confirm his fears that Hades was after you, and it worked. The flying shoes were cursed, I said. They're supposed to drag me and backpack into Tartarus. And they would have, if you'd been wearing them. But you gave them to the satyr, which wasn't part of the plan. Grover messes up everything he touches. He even confused the curse. Luke looked down at the scorpion, which was now sitting on my thigh. You should have died in Tartarus, Percy. But don't worry. I'll leave you with my little friend to set things right. Thalia gave her life to save you, I said, gritting my teeth. This is how you repay her. Don't speak of Thalia, he shouted. The gods let her die. That's one of the many things they will pay for. You're being used, Luke. You and Ares both. Don't listen to Kronos. I've been used? Luke's voice turned shrill. Look at yourself. What has your dad ever done for you? Kronos will rise. You've only delayed his plans. He will cast the entire Olympus into Tartarus and drive humanity back to their caves, all except the strongest, the ones who serve him. Call off the bug, I said. If you're so strong, bite me yourself. Luke smiled. Nice try, Percy, but I'm not Ares. You can't bait me. My lord's waiting, and he's got plenty of quests for me to undertake. Luke! Goodbye, Percy. There's a new golden age coming. You won't be part of it. He slashed his sword in an arc and disappeared in a ripple of darkness. The scorpion lunged. I swatted it away with my hand and capped my sword. The thing jumped at me mid-air, and I caught it. I was able to congratulate myself until I looked down at my hand. My palm had a huge red welt, oozing and smoking with yellow gook. The thing had got me after all. My ears pounded. My vision went foggy. The water, I thought it healed me before. I stumbled to the creek and submerged my hand, but nothing seemed to happen. The poison was too strong. My vision was getting dark. I could barely stand up. 60 seconds, Luke had told me. I had to get back to camp. If I'd collapsed out here, my body would be dinner for the monster. Nobody would ever know what had happened. My legs felt like lead. My forehead was burning. I stumbled toward the camp, and the nymphs stirred from their trees. Help! I croaked. Please! 2 of them took my arm, pulling me along. I remember making it to the clearing, a counselor shouting for help, a centaur blowing a conch horn. Then everything went black. I woke with the drinking straw in my mouth. I was sipping something that tasted like liquid chocolate chip cookies. Nectar. I opened my eyes. I was propped up in my bed of the sick room of the big house, my right hand bandaged like a club. Argus stood guard in the corner. Annabeth sat next to me, holding my nectar glass and dabbing a washcloth on my forehead. Here we are again, I said. You idiot, Annabeth said, which is how I knew she was overjoyed to see me conscious. You were green and turning gray when we found you. If it weren't Sharon's healing. Now, Sharon said. Percy's constitution deserved some of the credit. He was sitting near the foot of my bed in a human form, which is why I hadn't noticed him yet. His lower half was magically compacted into a wheelchair, his upper half dressed in a coat and tie. He smiled, but his face looked weary and pale, the way it did as he'd been up all night grading Latin papers. How are you feeling? He asked. Like my insides have been frozen, then microwaved? Abt considered that was a pit scorpion venom. Now you must tell me, if you can, exactly what happened. Between sips of nectar, I told him the story. The room was quiet for a long time. I can't believe that, Luke. Annabeth's voice faltered. Her expression turned angry and sad. Yes, I can believe it. May the gods curse him. He was never the same after his quest. This must be reported to Olympus, Sharon murmured. I will go at once. Luke's out there right now, I said. I have to go after him. Sharon shook his head. No, Percy, the gods won't even talk about Kronos, I snapped. Zeus declared the matter closed. Percy, I know this is hard, but you must not rush out for vengeance. You're not ready. I didn't like it, but part of me suspected Sharon was right. One look at my hand and I knew it wasn't going to be a sword fighting anytime soon. Sharon, your prophecy from the oracle. It was about Kronos, wasn't it? Was I in it? In Annabeth? Sharon glanced nervously at the ceiling. Percy, it isn't my place. You've been ordered not to talk to me about it, haven't you? His eyes were sympathetic but sad. You'll be a great hero, child. I'll do my best to prepare you, but if I'm right about the path ahead of you? Thunder boomed overhead, rattling the windows. All right, Sharon shouted. Fine. He sighed in frustration. The gods have their reasons, Percy. Knowing too much about your future is never a good thing. We can't just sit back and do nothing, I said. We will not sit back, Sharon promised. But you must be careful. Kronos wants you to become unraveled. He wants your life disrupted, your thoughts clouded with fear and anger. Do not give him what he wants. Train patiently. Your time will come. Assuming that I live that long. Sharon put his hand on my ankle. You'll have to trust me, Percy. You will live, but first you must decide your path for the coming year. I cannot tell you the right choice. I got the feeling that he had a very definite opinion, and it was taking all his willpower not to advise me. But you must decide whether to stay at Camp Half-Blood year-round, or return to the mortal world for 7th grade and be a summer camper. Think on that. When I get back from Olympus, you must tell me your decision. I wanted to protest. I wanted to ask him more questions, but his expression told me there would be no more discussion. He had said as much as he could. I'll be back as soon as I can, Sharon promised. Argus will watch over you. He glanced at Annabeth. Oh, and my dear, whenever you're ready, they're here. Who's here? I asked. Nobody answered. Sharon rolled himself out of the room. I heard the wheels of his chair clunk carefully down the front steps 2 at a time. Annabeth studied the ice in my drink. What's wrong? I asked her. Nothing. She set the glass on the table. Just took your advice about something. You, need anything? Yeah, help me up. I want to go outside. Percy, that isn't a good idea. I slid my legs out of bed. Annabeth caught me before I could crumple to the floor. A wave of nausea rolled over me. Annabeth said, I told you. I'm fine, I insisted. I didn't want to lie in bed like an invalid while Luke was out there planning to destroy the Western world. I managed to step forward, then another, still leaning heavily on Annabeth. Argus followed us outside but kept his distance. By the time we reached the porch, my face was beaded with sweat, and my stomach had twisted into knots, but I had to manage to make it all the way to the railings. It was dusk. The camp looked completely deserted. The cabins were dark and the volleyball pit silent. No canoes cut the surface of the lake. Beyond the woods and strawberry fields, the Long Island Sound glittered in the last light of the sun. "What are you gonna do?" Annabeth asked me. "I don't know." I told her I got the feeling Sharon wanted me to stay year-round, to put in more individual training time. But I wasn't sure that's what I wanted. I admitted I feel bad about leaving her alone, though, with only Clarice for company. Annabeth pursed her lips and then said quietly, "I'm going home for the year, Percy." I stared at her. "You mean to your dad's?" She pointed towards the crest of Halfboard Hill. Next to Thalia's pine tree, at the very edge of the camp's magical boundaries, a family stood silhouetted, 2 little children, a woman and a tall man with blonde hair. They seemed to be waiting. The man was holding a backpack that looked like one Annabeth had gotten from Waterland in Denver. I wrote him a letter when we got back, Annabeth said, "just like you suggested." I told him I was sorry. I'd come home for the school year if he'd still want me. He wrote back immediately. Decided we'd give it another try. "That took guts." She pursed her lips. "You won't try anything stupid during the school year, will you? At least, not without sending a message to Iris?" I managed to smile. "I won't go looking for trouble. I usually don't have to." "When I get back next summer," she said, "we'll hunt down Luke. We'll ask for a quest, but if we don't get approval, we'll sneak off and do it anyway. Agreed?" "Sounds like a plan worthy of Athena." She held out her hand and I shook it. "Take care, seaweed brain," Annabeth told me. "Keep your eyes open." "You too, wise girl." I watched her walk up the hill and join her family. She gave her father an awkward hug and looked back at the valley one last time. She touched Thalia's pine tree and allowed herself to be led over the crest into the mortal world. For the first time at camp, I felt truly alone. I looked at a Long Island Sound and remembered my father saying, "The sea does not like being restrained." I made my decision. I wondered if Poseidon was watching. Would he approve of my choice? "I'll be back next summer," I promised. "I'll survive until then. After all, I am your son." I asked Argus to take me down to Cabin 3 so I could pack my bags for home. Audible hopes you have enjoyed this book. Okay, if you are interested in reading the next book, that's your choice, this summer, let me show you a couple of your options. I'm really proud of you guys. Great work. If you go to Target, they have the first 5 books for only $21. That's a pretty good deal. You could also ask to get them from Amazon. They're $21. Or maybe you wait until the library is open and you can get them there. Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm really proud of you. Great work.